there's a pride that Putin's plans have been smashed, that one of the world's biggest armies, the Russian army, has been stopped in its stride.
Quite a few fears this morning that Russia might do something, what with it being Ukrainian Independence Day. Any sign of that? What have you heard from in terms of people's worries?
What I've heard, literally, was that at 6:55 this morning in Lviv, there was an air raid siren going off, and the Ukrainian authorities and also American and British intelligence have been warning people to be extra cautious today because they expect or they predict that Russia may try to inflict serious harm on the country, may go on a kind of missile launching spree in a spirit of vengeance to mark this 31st anniversary of Ukrainian independence.
And in terms of celebrations or marking the day, what is expected where you are and around the country?
Well, official or sort of publicly organized commemorations, celebrations, which usually happen, they've been banned because the authorities don't want people concentrated in big groups and small areas. So it's going to be muted in terms of what usually happens, but people understand that there isn't resentment for the cancellation. There's resentment at the Russians for imposing this state of fear or terror. But people are more or less used to these type of warnings, this type of caution being necessary.
And as I mentioned, it's also 6 months since the Russian invasion began. How are some of the people who you've spoken to feeling, especially where you are in Lviv as well, which, as you've explained to us in the past on the station, is the sort of birthplace of modern Ukrainian independence aspirations?
Well, there has been, for I'd say weeks or months now, an acceptance that this conflict is going to last a long time. Today, as you say, is exactly 6 months since this war began. Putin, the Russian president, predicted that it would be over in 3 days. So there's a pride that Putin's plans have been smashed, that one of the world's biggest armies, the Russian army, has been stopped in its stride. People will be thinking about the thousands of military and civilian people who have died in this conflict. It was announced by the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense that about 9,000 Ukrainian soldiers have died, and you could probably triple that number for wounded. And tens of thousands of civilians have been killed, and others have just disappeared. So it's going to be a day of consideration, thoughtfulness, and people won't be celebrating, but they'll be commemorating.